Viewers, welcome to another exclusive interview. My name is Omar Wally, and with me here is Honorable Fatoumatta Tambajang, who was the former Vice President of the Gambia, and she also served in various capacities within the country and outside. Honorable, thank you so much for granting us this interview.
Good morning and welcome to my humble home.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, welcome.
Well, let's start with the journey you want to embark on to kind of mend the relationship between the former Vice President, currently the leader of the United Democratic Party, Fatoumatta Tambajang, and the President of the Gambia, President Adam Barrow. So tell us why the need to mend the relationship between these two gentlemen.
First of all, I thank God Almighty for giving me the inspiration and also for giving me the passion and commitment to peace. It's my calling, and I believe I need to mend the relations between His Excellency Adam Barrow and His Excellency, the former Vice President Ousainou Darboe. Maybe that would be a starting point, but I want to really contribute to building peace, harmony, and friendship and brotherhood and sisterhood throughout the country. Starting with they are the leaders, the key leaders of this country. They are statesmen, they are reputable personalities, and they have a voice. As leaders, they have voice, and I believe that once they say that unity of purpose between the two, the country, the rest of the country will fall in the right direction because they have followers. Besides, His Excellency Adam Barrow has repeatedly said His Excellency Ousainou Darboe is his father. Vice versa, Ousainou has said that His Excellency Adam Barrow is his son. That relationship should never die. And more importantly also, it is an Islamic obligation, it's a divine obligation that each one of us take a responsibility in mending relationships wherever we see them broken or strained. So that's the context within which I'm coming from.
So how bad is the relationship between these two men?
I don't think it's bad, because speaking to His Excellency Adam Barrow, I've worked with him, I've known him. He's a peaceful man. I've known Ousainou also. Ousainou is also a peaceful man. So it shouldn't be, it is not bad, it's just politics. We know what politics does. And given the fact that our context, we are coming from a very complex context of 22 years of hardship, fragmented social fabric, families not talking to families, friends not talking to friends, because of the dictatorial regime we are coming from. We believe it's important that this relationship that is between the two men and between them and the supporters and between them and the rest of the citizens and among citizens should really be saved, should be safeguarded.
So what is the format of this? How do you intend to do it? Are you trying to kind of bring them together on one table and say, okay, put aside your differences, let's move forward? Remember, there is still tension. The election has still been disputed, and the UDP is still in denial, saying that it wasn't free and fair. So do you think it's going to be that easier for you?
Nothing is easy in life. You just have to try. You try. If everything is easy, nobody tries. So we need to try and do the things that we need to do. The format it will take, of course, will be through dialogue. It will be dialogue at different levels, and I am very hopeful, given my relationship with both of them, which is respect, love, and consideration. I'm sure that the journey will not be that as much as difficult as one may think.
So is it, okay, let me put it this way. if these people continue, the strange relationship continue, what do you think will be the effect? What effect will it have on the country, on the Gambia as a country?
As I already said, they're leaders, prominent leaders, very popular leaders. President Adama Barrow is the president of the country. His Excellency Ousainou Darboe is also a leader of this country. And they all have followers. And they, not only at the level of politics, but also traditionally, culturally, they are viewed as reputable leaders, reputable elders in the country. So I definitely believe that if this continues, the strained relationship continues, then the country will be, the country is really sort of like very sad. The Gambia is very sad because of, among other things, I know there is economical, there is political, there is social, but more of the two excellencies strained relationship. So it's affecting, it's having radical effects on the population, the rest of the population of the Gambia.
So it's, is it only Darboe and Barrow, or you also may relation? Because certainly Barrow has no good relationship with even Halifa Sallah, even Sidia Jatta and Mama Kande. So is it only Darboe, or these other people also will be included in the event that you settle the one between him and Darboe? Are you going to proceed with the other ones?
Yeah, I did say that at the beginning of my statement that it's going to be starting with them, because they're the key leaders, and more so it is the strainedness is more between the two excellencies than between them and the other political parties. So, and when we are doing, I say it's dialogue, and dialogue must be engagement, engaging everybody, the PDIS, every political party, every segment of this society, because no matter what, they are all leaders in their own right, their constitutional right. But it must start somewhere. When you're mending relationships, what you start with is the father and the son, the father and the daughter, and the wife and the husband. So then you go to the children, or you go to the friends, and then you go to the rest of the country. But it's going to be inclusive.
Inclusive. So were you assigned to do this, or you offered yourself to do this?
God assigned me to do it. Nobody assigned me. As I said at my the opening of my statement, is that it's a divine inspiration. It's a divine inspiration. It's a passion that God has given me, and it's a commitment that God has given me. So it's an inspiration. Nobody has asked me to do it. And I'm doing it with great pleasure and also great humility.
One might say this might not be a major issue considering what is happening to the country at the moment. Women are dying at the hospital. The country is having acute electricity and water supply. And the population is divided. Tribalism is a major issue. Mm-hmm. So one might say, why not you focus and direct your energy on those issues than two political opponents? Because women die in the hospital. Mm-hmm. The number, maternal death is a scourge, and so many people are dying. Why not you focus on trying to stem that tide? Mm-hmm. Try to talk to people how to solve the electricity problem, mm-hmm. and divide the population, mm-hmm. instead of two individuals. When
peace is the bedrock of everything, bedrock of development, once you have the engagement, the commitment of these two leaders, they will focus on the agenda. They have agendas. Both of them presented the agenda to the citizens of the country. And once they're spending more time in conflict, more time in straining their relationship than focusing on their agenda. So first of all, you have to build the foundation where they will understand that they are not their leaders alone, they are leaders of the country in their respective rights. Hence, they need to really make peace. The context is asking for peace, and they must take the responsibility of being in the forefront of peace building. There must be a political will on the side of His Excellency the President, and I have always advised him, whether I'm inside when I was Vice President and when I was outside the office. My call on him and my advice on him is always peace. And Hussein also. It's always peace. So this we have to start somewhere.
Yeah. The Truth Commission submitted their findings to the president. 6 months later, the government issued a white paper and they recommended prosecution for several of those people. You were at the launching. What is your assessment of all these things?
My assessment, first of all, I want to really correct myself as a human being for not really calling on 1 minute silence for all those who have passed away during the regime, those who have been killed, those who have been raped, those who have been tortured, those who have suffered in one way or the other. And I really want to do that and apologize to the victims of Yahya Jammeh. Secondly, I believe that the government has done what is expected of them. We expected that they would adopt the report as is, and we expect that the implementation would also not be too long, because people have been patient. People have waited for so long, particularly those who have suffered, the survivors of those victims. So my call on them is that they have done well, the government has done well, by taking the bull by the horn, accepting the recommendation. This is a difficult report. It's a very challenging report. It has challenged the integrity of government under His Excellency President Barrow. If something otherwise was done, if they had rejected, that of course is something that we all know would have really been difficult. We would have pushed our country into a very difficult situation. But thank God, God has guided him, has guided his government to do the right thing. So now we as citizens, as I said at the launching, we need to be patient. Patient doesn't mean that the government should be complacent, dragging its feet in implementing the report.
Let me take you back to the TRRC again. Although the government presented a white paper recommended for prosecution, but there are people who are still in denial that nothing happened under Jammeh's 22-year rule. Do you think the Gambia can move as a country when people are still in denial that nothing happened?
The country will move. You know, truth is powerful. Truth is powerful. God is with truth. And in fact, one of his names is Al-Adil, which is justice. And one of his things is always that we should do Al-Haq, which is the truth. And we have always understood and lived the experience that truth will always prevail. So those who are in denial may be in the minority. The majority, people, the country would move. People like Gambians are determined to move the country. What we need now is just the political will to focus on the will of the people, to walk in line with the needs and aspirations of the people, so that the country would move. And moving the country is not only His Excellency Adama Barrow and his government. Everybody should come on board, not necessarily joining the government or working under the public service. Wherever we are, as citizens, we can contribute. You are working for yourself. You are self-employed media, and you are contributing to your country. You are paying taxes. You are making voices heard. To the most remote area where people are not heard, you are making them heard. This is all contributing to nation building. So the country is moving, the people are positive. What we need is just to have our the right mentality, the right attitudes, and unity of purpose. Gambians, we must always, I always hear people say, Gambia no mambete, Gambia Zibahud. We should stop saying that. Gambia, as long as we continue saying Gambian Zibahud, we are going to be in that category. We shouldn't put ourselves in that box. You find good and bad everywhere you go. Gambians are good. Our parents, if you say Gambians are not good, it's an insult to the country. Look at the elders, what they did. The four political founding fathers, traditional and cultural, what they did for the country. And even every one of us, what we are doing. And we are interrelated. We are all helping, supporting each other. I want us to bury those words that we really categorize, with which we categorize ourselves as Gambians.
Jammeh currently lives in exile in Equatorial Guinea. So if someone asks your opinion, where do you think Jammeh should be prosecuted? Where do you think he should face justice?
For me, I'm not a legal person.
Yeah,
but I would think that logically, he should be prosecuted by the International Court of Justice. I would think that the ICC should be in a better position, because politically, where can you take him in any of these African countries where we will not have crisis? I would believe that that will be the best place to give him what he deserves, the justice he deserves.
Maternal death is a major problem facing women in this country. Several women, hundreds of women die, but the problem still continues. What do you think is the way forward? You held that high office there, women were under you, and so many women, they went out, they cried, they protested, but still the problem keeps on going on. What do you think is the solution to this problem?
The solution is to enhance the health sector, the health system, is to provide good infrastructure, is to provide incentives to health personnel by training, by incentives, financial incentives, by logistics, give them the tools that they require to work. And also we need to also include our traditional birth attendants. Those are people with a critical mass that have played and continue to play an instrumental role in our societies, especially where you don't have health facilities. Most of us were born through those traditional birth attendants. So you need to have that inclusive capacity, the quality of human capacity, material and financial capacities. And then we also need to look at how to improve the educational system, improving more girls' enrollment in education, and not only that, but maintaining them, retaining them. There is a system already placed by the Honorable Minister of Education, who is an educator and has a lot of experience. I know education is her passion, but she needs to have the resources that she needs, as any other sector, to really improve. For the health minister needs to have all the resources that are required, and they need to also prioritize. Like when they say a project is for COVID, the money should be simply to eradicate COVID. When they say malaria is malaria, you don't crisscross funding. That's dangerous. And I think the target for the Ministry of Health should be, how do we gradually curb infant and maternal mortality? We are in the 21st century. I don't think any woman, apart from something that comes from God, should make the woman die because of lack of resources or health care. And we also need to look at the health insurance, introduce health insurance where poor people, working class, the middle working class can also benefit from quality health care whenever they or their family members are ill.
Politics 2021 presidential election is done, but we are approaching another one in 2026. Will you participate in the upcoming election as a presidential candidate?
2026, it's we are seeing the emergence of many political leaders, and we see, except that women are really not yet visible, but nobody can say no to anything in your country, because you don't decide for yourself. What you do, you plan, what God decides for you. My ambition right now is to see how much I can contribute to nation building than focusing on politics and focusing on becoming a presidential candidate. I have to do something. My commitment is to see how best I can help support whoever is working, do some work. I'm doing consultancies. I'm still contributing to nation building because I crisscross the country. I engage different people and I support young people. I mentor them, and the little I have, I contribute to sponsoring young people, underprivileged children who are talented but cannot go pursue their education. So I really, my priority today is to contribute to nation building rather than thinking about contesting presidential elections in 2026.
Let's fast forward, let's say we're in 2025. So people came in. What capacity do you think will contest? As an independent, or you want to buy on a political party?
Well, I'm saying that I am not thinking about vying for the presidency, so I cannot say whether it's not relevant. That question is not relevant.
Okay. So, but let's say when the time comes and people say, we want you to lead us or lead our party, or we want you to represent us because you are one time there, you won't turn that offer down.
I would rather keep that personal.
Okay. So why do you think most women are not into politics? So we have seen the 2021 presidential election, only Marisol. But still, even in the parliament, we have a very decimal number there. So what is the way forward to make sure that we have more in politics, especially at that level of presidency? Because we have seen in Malawi, we have seen in Liberia and other countries, in India, in Uganda and others led those countries. And they say women are the better leaders, but yet women are not put in those political positions.
Women constitute more than half of the population, and women are predominantly the contributors into the economy, the social and politics. I am disappointed as an individual, as a professional, to see that His Excellency Adama Barrow's government has really decreased the number of women in politics and number of women in governance. I'm disappointed because he knows that it is the women that brought him to power. It is the women that God used to bring him to power. Women are loyal. The women voted for him. If you look at the statistics, how many women voted for him? How many women campaigned for him? How many women as the campaigns and all those scaffolds voted for him and supported him? I'm disappointed, and I will engage him on that. I will engage him on that. And there are many women in the diaspora also who are disappointed, and we have decided that we will engage him through dialogue, through advice, and so that he can increase the numbers in politics and in governance. Of course, this is not only that we want them to come to in the public sector, in government, but also once they create the enabling environment. And what we need to remember, His Excellency needs to remember, I want to remind him, is that the Gambia is a signatory to all the human rights instruments, like the Convention on All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, the Maputo Protocol of 1995, and the Agenda 2063 of the African Union, which is calling for gender equality and empowerment. The parity issue must be at the forefront of the government's agenda. It should be among the priorities of the government agenda. We need to also, the other factor is the fact that we need to really continue encouraging women. Political parties must encourage women to be nominated and appointed in political committees, and also like the parliament. This issue is also to some extent a responsibility of political parties. Not many political parties nominated their members, female candidates for parliament. The representation is low, and as long as we don't have gender parity, it is very going to be difficult how women will really have access to the constitution, to their constitutional rights to justice. Many women are facing injustices in marriages, domestic violence, and the lack of resources, and yet they have no voice to help them. The Ministry of Gender cannot do everything. We need to bring more women, particularly civil society. Once there is the enabling environment, especially from the constitutional level, we were expecting that we would have 50% if we had the new constitution were adopted. That is important. It has to start from the constitutional level, where women must be given a specific quota, like Rwanda has done, Senegal has done, Uganda, and other countries. And they will say, once you have more women in leadership, more educated women in leadership, even those who are not educated, we can always help them through coaching in the local languages, Well, what stops us from having, like in Senegal, speaking the local languages to better understand, to be more inclusive in governance? Really training women in leadership, in advocacy, in different areas, supporting them in the entrepreneurial capacity, particularly the economic empowerment of women. Once we focus on empowering women economically, they will have a voice. People usually don't have a voice because they are poor. They look at the elections. During elections, they give them bags of rice, they give them $1,000, $500. What they are supposed to give them for their living, through the agricultural sector, through the private sector, through the informal sector, they wait for elections to give them one bag of rice, $500. Is that what is how you take a nation, or how you lead a nation? That's not the way you lead the nation. And this is not only the responsibility of His Excellency Adama Barrow. It's everybody's responsibility. Political parties must ensure that they have internal democracy, where women and men will be represented. They should support also women. Women must support women. We must also bring the young people. Youths also must really be inclusive. Good, that's what democracy is. We cannot enjoy the dividends of democracy when we have business as usual. What makes us think as Gambians, as women, that doing business as usual will give you this different result?
What is your take on the 2021 election? Because there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of, it was so messy. Some said it was free and fair. Others are they still dispute the results. What is your take? How do you think the election went?
Well, you know, when things have gone to the legal point, legal system, your judgment cannot influence any decision. My decision is that IEC has the responsibility of supervising the elections. They have supervised the elections. We have had the results. The UDP has gone to the legal, they've gone to court, and they've lost the case. So we cannot, there is no way we can really turn history. What we can do is, as Gambians, is to just ensure that, and I think I should not forget that the fact that there is no elections that every party will say is fair. No party will say elections are fair. Most elections I have observed, I've observed many elections in this world. Liberia, Malawi, Nigeria, in many countries. I have never seen in Malawi the opposition said no. They had to redo the elections. In other countries, there is no elections where you will have the winning party and the losing party saying, that the elections were fair. Sometimes even the winning party would have political militants who would claim that they should have had more than they have. So I think we should now move forward and really mend the country. We are now coming to the mayoral elections. Every one of them should work hard, try to see how they strategize and how to really educate their supporters to really follow the electoral law, peace and harmony. And that is also our culture, peace and harmony.
I'm glad you mentioned Malawi. You know, they held an election, but the opposition cried foul. After 2 years, they went through the process and looked at it, was not free, fair and transparent. It was annulled, which, and they went to first election, which let Lazarus Chakwara win election. Do you think similar thing can happen to Gambia after a year or so? They're like, okay, well, we realize that the court also made a mistake, so we have to redo the election again. Do you think similar things are possible?
I don't think it's possible in the Gambia. In Malawi, what happened, I was the deputy leader for African Union Observer Mission. What happened was that the legal system found that there was foul in the electoral system. So they took time. They examined it, they brought independent people and found that it was foul. So that's why they redid the elections and the opposition won. Here, the legal system is saying that His Excellency Adama Barrow, the NPP, won. And but for me, I believe that all of them, all the political parties have won. The fact that they have stood up to show that they all have, it's the same goal, same mission. They all want to really build the country. They are all winners. The fact that they are not into government doesn't mean that they of course, I would say that technically you have the losers and the winners. But when it comes to really looking at it from the professional point of view and the how do you call it, the moral point of view, all of them are winners. Even those who had 3 or 10 votes are winners.
In the event that President Barrow offered you a job to move this country forward, will you take the offer?
I will take the offer. As I said, I'm here as an independent, and I'm here to work. Wherever I am given, whatever position President Barrow feels I can perform in, I will help. I'm not helping President Barrow, I'm helping the country. President Barrow is not helping himself, he's helping the country. A government has to have a government. A country has to have a government. That's why you have a government. But I'm ready to work, and I'm working. Actually, I'm working. Because from time to time, whenever there is crisis, I call on him and I discuss, I engage him, I engage other stakeholders who are involved, parties that are involved, and I help them. This is nation building. I'm not going to work. I will not work for the sake of money, because God knows I'm comfortable. In terms of already I've worked for so many years, I've saved for so many years, I have children who are helping, who are supporting me. I'm still working as a consultant. I'm comfortable. And so I will be working not because I want to get anything. And I know that I am a God-fearing person. I will never take a dime from my country, because that is illegal. It's also not, how do you call it, it's a crime. So my working with His Excellency Adama Barrow in any position he gives me that he feels I deserve and I can really discharge, I would be willing to work with him. And so will it be if there are any other government. People say, I have heard that people say that I was sitting on the fence, I didn't go out to support Barrow. UDP say I didn't go out to support them. Other parties said I didn't go out to support them because I'm sitting on the edge. If I am greedy and I need a job for myself, for my survival, I would have been at the edge. But I don't need anything. I stood there because I'm a moral voice for the country. That is undisputable. It's unquestionable. But God knows that I'm here as a moral voice. And you need moral voices in a country. Anticipating the complexity of the elections, 2021 elections, there was no way, I didn't even dream of going out to support His Excellency Adama Barrow. And I did tell His Excellency Adama Barrow, I told him, you will not see me out supporting you. Usaini Dabo, the same thing. They have, all the other political parties. I say I am not going out to support anybody. When it comes to voting, I will go and vote. But I told His Excellency President Adama Barrow. So those who will tell him that I was sitting at the fence because I wasn't sure who was going to win, he should know that that is not true. Because I have spoken to him series of times that I am going to continue to be the moral voice. And I did that. I called for peace. I engaged political leaders for peace. I engaged supporters for peace. I am not claiming that I brought peace to Gambia. But today I'm happy, and I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making me a moral voice, where people can listen to me, where people will respect my voice.
What do you say to critics who said, yes, you are a moral voice for the country, respected, your contribution led to the formation of the coalition that brought Barrow to power, but they said you and few individuals just decided to extend the 3 years, Barrow's 3 years to 5 years. What do you say to that? They said that's supposed to be inclusive, but few of you decided to do that without consulting others.
No, that's a mistake. There's a mistake, and I have forgiven those who have said it. People, nobody is perfect. People, sometimes they just act on emotions, sometimes they act on assumptions. The coalition, when the coalition was a body, an instrumental body, through which God used to bring peace and democracy in this country. We had said 3 years, all of the political parties who were members of the coalition said 3 years. And in the end, we realized, personally, I was in government. As a vice president, I knew what we inherited. We did not find anything in the coffers, treasury. We found only 1 month income cover. We didn't have even what to pay staff, you know, the civil service, delivery of services, goods and services. We didn't have it. So it was moral, as a chair of the coalition or the co-chair of the coalition, it was onus on me to take the initiative to say, let's meet again and let's revisit the situation. The oversight that His Excellency did was not to go out, to go and engage the population. I had advised him during the second year. I said, it is time really for us to go out, for you to go out and inform the people that this is what the situation is, and they should be patient and give us consideration for you to extend your mandate. It was not because I was there, I wanted to enjoy my tenure of office as vice president, but that was what is good for the country at the time. If he did that, we would have not had the issue, the crisis that we had for 3 years job now, you know. And then when we came out, one of the political parties leaders, the key political leaders who were in the coalition, they decided that the constitution takes precedence. Of course, it is the same constitution that didn't break the governance. Breaking the governance, going for elections without any money. If you don't have money to pay the civil service, how much money would you have to call for elections? They're just tactical. These were practical. One has to be pragmatic certain times in life. It's not just rigid. This is it, this is it, this is it. So this is why I didn't do it alone. I took the initiative. I will never deny that. I took the initiative. And when the coalition had a meeting with His Excellency the President, I asked for audience, we went, and we advised, we said, this is the situation in the country, and we must now stand and do some work. You know, even though some political parties like the PPP, PDOIs, the Moral GMC left the coalition, decided that we will just continue. And thank God it happened that he continued to 5 years. It's just regrettable that we had the 3 years jotna, and that was also their constitutional right to protest. And I did tell His Excellency the President, I said, if they protest peacefully, it is their constitutional right. I said, but we would have prevented that if you had gone out to engage, to inform the population that we inherited a difficult financial situation. We would not allow you to just stay for 3 years.
You held a senior position, number 2 in this country for many years, as the Vice President, as Minister of Women Affairs and so on. Do you think you will ever be President of the Gambia? Although you were there, but whenever the President is there, you are in charge of the country. But do you think you will ever be President of the Gambia? Well,
that's God's. If God says, you know, Allah has said in the Holy Quran, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. He said, Fa'ali lima yurid. He will give it to who He wants. If God wants me to be the President of the country, who am I to say I will not be President of the country? If God says it, it will happen someday, inshallah. If He doesn't say it, I will not compete for it. I will not struggle for it, because I know, you know, why I am living my life peacefully, because I have peace within myself. I am a believer that everything God has written and His pen has dried. What I should get in this world, I will get it before I die. what I will not get in this world, there is no way, no matter what I do, I compete and this thing, I will never get it. So that's why I'm very peace. Alhamdulillah, I have a peace of mind. Wherever I find myself, I do my best, and I respect people, and I remain humble, and I remain committed to my country. My country first.
Your country first.
My country first until the day I die.
So which means, but do you have a presidential ambition?
I don't have it right now. Right now, to tell you the truth, I don't have any presidential ambition. And it's not because I am afraid of anybody hearing it or anybody taking it against me. It is my constitutional right to have ambition. And everybody has an ambition. But things in life, you have to follow the way God destines for you. Right now, for me, my ambition is to contribute to nation building. Yes. When it's time, if ever I have the political ambition to become president, you will be the first person I will call for you to interview me. Inshallah.
So finally, what will be your final message?
My final message is to call on His Excellency President Barrow to continue to be patient. He is the father of the nation. God has confided us, all of us, His citizens, in His hands. He must remain focused. He must remain peaceful. He must take the leadership in reconciling this country. Of course, I am one of the first people that recommended that he should have a commission on peace and reconciliation. And I am really looking forward to working in that commission, because it's my calling. I really want to work with that commission because I have the qualification, I have the experience, I have the commitment and the passion for peace. So he should take the leadership. He should reconcile with everybody, political parties, reconcile with his country, and make sure that wherever he addresses the nation, just as he's doing it, he must call for peace and unity. And once he does that, and also I am calling on him to desist from calling names or threatening individuals, citizens who constitutionally have a right to criticize. As long as the criticism it is within the realm of the law, he should forget it. If they violate, those who criticize his government or criticize him as an individual, if the criticisms are illegal, there is the Minister of Justice. When that's why he has ministers, he has different institutions. He should focus on his political agenda. The issue of, threatening or calling names or, getting angry against people and using this thing, these are not tendencies that the Gambia requires, particularly after 22 years of dictatorship. He is a peaceful person, and I really want him to continue to be peaceful. And he should not listen to those who said, "Etelom mansati, no, he shouldn't listen to that." Well, bur, ninyo def bur, te dañ la olu def la bur. In la defe bur nak, dangay def kom bay. He should be a father figure. And he has to be realistic, just as I used to advise him when I was there. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad, all the prophets from Adam alayhi salam up to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who among them have you had who hasn't experienced criticism? Huh? How much struggle did Muhammad not do to really have our religion, Islam? Jesus in Christianity, Moses and everyone. So he has to have a thick skin. He shouldn't have a thin skin. And he must listen to his advisors, but there are times when the advisors don't advise him what is in the interest of the country. He should also be very careful about that. Yes, when they advise him, and I always pray for the advisors, for God to put them in the straight path, so that whatever they tell His Excellency Adama Barrow should be in the interest of the country, not for their own interest. There are people who go around you, they go around you because they want something. But there should be people that should be there. And also for all the other political parties, His Excellency Ousainou Darboe, Maifati, Honorable Maifati, Honorable Halifa Sallah, all of those who are interested in politics and have fight for politics or have political ambitions, we must all look at Gambia first. Let's consider Gambia first. The rest must really be mellowed down, and let's all go in the white bus. The white bus is bus for peace and reconciliation. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He guides us, He protects our country, He gives us peace and prosperity and unity of purpose, and He also does the same for all our neighboring countries and also the rest of the world. We must also continue to not only champion peace at the level of the country, but everywhere we can champion, we must continue to champion peace. And we must not forget I'm also calling on His Excellency final message, not to forget the diaspora. The diaspora has been instrumental in the democratic change, the dividends which we are now enjoying, the freedom of the media. Look at the media. Today you are free coming here, interviewing me, doing your work as usual. Others are also doing the same. So we must not forget them. They have been instrumental. I'm not saying that he should bring them to his government, but he should provide that enabling environment, and even appointing them to government positions. And we should also try to have a new constitution. We need to have a third republic. We have been in a second republic that we no longer want to remember. We no longer want to live in. We want to have a new era of peace, stability, national unity, and advancement of this country. 57 years we should have been beyond here in terms of economic and social development. On that note, I thank you so much for taking your time to come and interview me and making my voice, my humble voice, heard by other people, and making people who would understand my position and in terms of where I stand for the country, and where I really want the country to go. I also want to really thank the other members of the TRRC. I must not forget to thank them. The team did a marvelous job, a wonderful job. It's historic under the chairmanship of Lamin CCB. Also, we have also seen the other members of the team, like the imams who were working with him. We also have the lawyers, the legal team, and all of them individually. Maybe I will not remember their names, but they have done a marvelous job, and they should be thanked, and we pray for them, for God to reward them for the work they have done, exposing their lives. This was a very difficult job, exposing their lives, interviewing people. The security of their life were at stake, but they did it. So we pray to Allah for Allah to reward them, to guide them, and to really bless their families, and for God to bless our country and everyone, as citizen, as a resident. There is a mission, there is currently an issue that we did not raise, which I would like to raise, which is the Fula community. There is a brewing crisis in traffic, in the traffic, between, I think, the police and the Fula communities in terms of transportation. I had an audio today. I don't know how true it is. I cannot take the law in my hands, but I would try to see how I can find out from the authority. We don't want to have really crisis. To the extent I had that someone was saying, one policeman was saying, even if you say somebody, they say Muhammad buy in summer, is not born in summer. That's not true. That's not a right statement. If it is so, they must try to really desist that, and really, I would call on government to really look into that and really inform the public as to what steps they are taking to ensure that that doesn't happen or that is stopped.
Well, viewers, that's all we have for you on this interview with Honorable Fatoumatta Tambajang, the former Vice President of the Gambia. Thank you so much for your time. Viewers, welcome to